Hello and welcome to episode 10 of the Celtic Cast On podcast. My name is Kelly and I'm coming to you from the beautiful east coast of Canada where it is rather rainy lately. We've had about a week of full rain and pretty chilly conditions, so we're pushing into spring. I think we're heading out of the snow season finally, so we're looking forward to some spring and some summer. It has been a while since I have spoken with you. I'm going to get it out of the way right now before I head into anything else, but last podcast you would have seen my big furry sidekick Boston in the snow pile behind me in most of the podcast, and since then Boston has died. It was, I don't even know how to start or how to talk about it, but it was his heart. He was almost 11, so he would have been 11 in September-ish, probably a little bit before actually. He probably was 11 because we got him when he was 9 months old, and we always said that his and Molly's birthdays would be in September 1st, because that's when we got them. So anyway, he was having trouble the night before. He started breathing very heavily, like panting a lot. And I said, something's not right, because for about a week he hadn't been really eating his food properly. Boston is a complete food hound, and he would have done anything for food. So to not see him eat all of his dinner was kind of odd. So when I saw him panting the night before, I said, you know what, I think we need to take him to the vet because something's not right. Like, I could see he was lying in the kitchen panting, and he just had this look in his eye like, Mom, help me out here. So we decided we were going to take him to the vet in the morning, and when I got up, I came down to see him, and he was still panting, and he was kind of lying in the living room floor panting, which is not his norm. Like, he would have been up and, hey Mom, how's it going? So I ran upstairs to have a shower because the vet didn't open until later that day. I think it was a Saturday. And when I came back down, he was even worse. So I called Moose down and I said, you know what, I don't think he's going to make it. So his heart basically gave out and he died on the living room floor
in your arms?
Very shortly after. And we were both there with him, and he wasn't in any pain. It didn't seem like he was just kind of hanging out with us, and he just laid down and went to sleep. So I guess it couldn't have been any better for him. He was at home, he was with us, and for me as well, that we didn't have to take him to the vet and we didn't have to put him down. It just kind of, it was good as dying can be, I guess. That kind of took the wind out of my sails. I had planned a podcast in the next couple of days, but there was no way I was podcasting. We had Boston for 11 years, and we've had him longer than we've had our kids. He was our first kid. It was just really rough the first week. I still look for him sometimes. I get out of the van and I expect to open the door for him to be there wagging his tail like, hey Mom. And even after I came back from the vet, we took him to the vet and they cremated him. But when we came back, I even put my hand down before I opened the door, because normally he just barged to the door. He was so excited to see you, and I instinctively put my hand down, but he obviously wasn't going to be there to burst through the door. So anyway, I wanted to get that out of the way before I carry on so I don't have to think about it. We can just talk about knitting. So without further ado, let's get into the knitting. Oh, did you notice I got a new chair? I'm probably going to be spinning a lot. That might drive you guys crazy.
Me too.
But we'll see. I have been doing a lot of sewing lately, as you'll see shortly. So the counter that Moose made us is awesome, but it's higher than the chairs that we normally had. So I asked him to keep an eye out for a chair that was movable and could move up and down, because I needed to be up higher to see the top of my sewing machine, because I was kind of sewing up the way like this. So it wasn't helping my straight lines at all. So he came home with this one the other day off of Kijiji, and it is perfect. So I'm very happy. So I'll try not to swivel too much, but I can't guarantee it. I should probably lock it. I wonder if there's a lock. Is there a lock?
You mean this?
No, that's a tilt. Woo! Okay, I'll just leave it for now.
I think there's that one on the back.
It's okay. So, how have you all been? I am looking forward to showing you all of my things I've been working on. As you can see behind me, I have my new desk area set up. I got some white pegboard and finally got all of the stuff off my desk. It just seemed that everything was piling up and I could never find anything. So we kind of organized it a little bit and I'm really enjoying it much more. So this little guy right here is a pastel and watercolor that T did at school that I really loved, and I had to put it in a frame. So we're gonna put it up on the wall somewhere, and I might actually do a little collage of some of her artwork eventually once I get some more pieces, but I just thought she was so cute. She named her Ginger. So that's my new addition. All right, so let's jump into the knitting. Got lots to show. So my first FO, ta-da, is my Northbound sweater. I finally got the extra yarn that I needed from some lovely soul on Ravelry. She sent me the last skein of brown that I needed to finish this, and it is complete. It is the Northbound sweater by This Bird Knits, and I knit this in Cascade 220. So it is, I don't have the color numbers. The cream is 8010. I'm not sure what the brand is, but I'll put it below for you so you'll know. I basically followed the pattern with the exception that I looked on my sweater that I had previously knit to this for the lengths, because I really liked the length of the sleeves and the body. So I just kind of mimicked that on this one. It's a little bit more tighter fitting in the arms and the body than my orange sweater, but I kind of knew that going in because... So the Cascade 20 is a very thin worsted weight, I find, so I knew that it was going to be a lot slimmer than my orange sweater, but I still love it. It's just not going to be a camp sweater, a skating sweater, or anything like that. It's going to be one I can wear whenever. So I will definitely put in some pictures to show you, but this is my first FO. So this is my second sweater of the year, second colorwork sweater of the year, second colorwork sweater ever, actually. So I'm pretty pleased with that. So after I had finished this, my daughter had a neck warmer for school that was disintegrating, falling apart. So I told her that I was going to knit her one. So I had noticed the pattern, the Colette cowl. It was on Ravelry for free for, I don't know if it's free all the time or free for a period of time. And I wanted to do something similar to that, but I knew that she didn't want to have the double-sidedness of the cowl because it is knit, you knit color work on one side and then color work all the way up the back and it's seamed together. But she didn't want that, so we kind of compromised. And this is called, what did we end up calling it? She called it the Hearts of the Day cowl. So I took the heart pattern from the original cowl and I just did one side. So you'll see the inside has all the floats. And I just did a ribbing on the bottom and a ribbing on the top. I cast on a lot less stitches than what the Colette cowl called for because I knew that her neck was going to be a lot smaller. So she picked out the colors. A lovely little rainbow deal. The yarn that we used is Loops and Thread Wool to Wash, which was the purple. And actually, and all the other colors too. So this is just a yarn that she liked at Michael's, and it's a single spun, but it's holding up very well. So this has been worn every day since I made it, and I made it over a month ago. So it's doing well. Hopefully well into next year as well. So that's my next FO. So other than knitting, there's one other project that's a test knit that I can't show you right at this minute, but I'll be able to show it to you on the next episode because it hasn't been released yet. But I was knitting on it straight for quite a few weeks, and once I finished it, I kind of took a break from knitting and did some other crafting things. And before I had started quilting and that, I would always struggle with, I had to be knitting something all the time, and I didn't have time for this other craft because knitting was more important. But I seem now to be able to kind of flow back and forth. I will do one project of sewing and then I'll come back and do some knitting. It doesn't seem to be that I need to be full on knitting anymore because I guess I've got a lot of knit things already. So let's talk about some whips and then we'll get into some sewing. I only have one whip to show you that is knitting, so let's get right down to it. I started a shawl. I can't even remember if I talked about this shawl or not. I kind of don't think I did. But I have ripped it several times and it's not been because of the pattern. It has been because I have not been paying close enough attention to the chart. So let me show you what it is. It's called Herbarium and it's by Lisa Haynes of Malia Designs. So that's what it looks like, and I love the blue, but I didn't have any blue, and I wanted to use something that I already had in my stash. So I was very kindly gifted this red Woolmizer. She doesn't want me to say her name, but she knows who she is, so thank you very much for sending this to me. She actually sent this to me when I first started podcasting, and I said I really wanted to knit a red shawl, but I didn't have red yarn. And she sent me a message and said, I have red yarn I would love to send to you. So nice. Thank you so much. I'm going to love this shawl and think of you every time I wear it. So this is the red, and I didn't have anything to go along with this. So actually, when I decided that I wasn't going to continue on my Cozy Memories blanket and my little crocheted square blanket that I was doing, I had these white skeins of Knit Picks yarn that I had set aside for those to do the border with. And since I wasn't going to do that anymore, I thought, what am I going to do? I have 6 skeins of this Knit Picks and I have nothing that I can do with it. Like, what am I going to do with white Knit Picks? So I was talking to Mars from Brownberry Chronicles about it, and she's like, hey, I can dye that. So I'm like, okay. So I sent her the yarn and she dyed this beautiful gray to go with the shawl. I showed her the shawl and I showed her that I wanted a really light gray, and this is what she sent me. Beautifully done, and this is what I have done on the shawl so far. Not a whole lot because I've had to rib it several times, but it's pretty easy knit, so I can get back up to where I need to be very quickly. Goodness, got a tangle going on here. So there's what I've got so far now. Isn't that the perfect combo? Yes, it is, and it's going to be beautiful once it's done. So that's it. I am enjoying it very much, and even though I've had to knit it 3 times, 4th time's a charm. So that's my only whip right now, and I haven't, to be honest, I haven't worked on it in a little bit because I was working on a test, so hopefully I'll get back to that one very shortly. So the Craft for Stash knit along is finally over. The thread closed on March 31st, and I did lock it then, and I have been waiting for this podcast to announce the winners. So we have 3 winners of the prizes. First of all, we had, I think, 79 entries in the thread, which is awesome. And I used the random number generator and picked 3 names, and this is what you win. So the first prize was the Eldonwood Craft bag, which looks like this one. This one's mine. Yours is in a package ready to go. This is what it is. It's like a sock or shawl size bag with my favorite little birdies. And this is from Emma of Eldenwood Craft. And the winner of that was Hedge, H-E-G-E. And I know she's in a very cold and snowy place at the minute, so I'm hoping these little birds will cheer you up once I send them on their way. The second prize is for the stitch markers by Alazan Dante that have the Celtic theme to them. And the winner of that prize is the name is Catman and Robin was the winner of those stitch markers. So I'll be sending those along to you very shortly. And the last prize was donated by Mars from the she is Hey Brownberry on Ravelry. I get her name wrong every time. And she is from the Brownberry Chronicles podcast. She has donated one copy of each of my patterns, which is Stormont and the Hyro Mittens. And those are going to Tokyo City Girl. So congratulations to everyone, and thank you so much for entering the knit along. I loved seeing all the projects. You guys were on fire. I know several people posted several finished objects, so it was really awesome. Also, one other thing about a prize. The prize for the Briggs & Little giveaway has not been claimed. And it's been a long time since I recorded that episode, so I feel like if they were going to claim it, they would have claimed it by now. So I've gone ahead and drawn another name so I can get the Briggs out of the house before I start knitting with it. And the winner to that is Wombat Knitter. So Wombat Knitter, if you can contact me on Ravelry, actually if all the winners can contact me on Ravelry with your address, I will get those sent off to you very shortly. So if you follow me on Instagram, you will know that we have been on the hunt for some land. We're looking for a place to put a camp, and my husband is at the window making faces at me. So we finally found our land, and it has been purchased, and I did a little video the last time we were up there, just kind of cleaning up some brush and that so we can get actually in the road. It's been pretty much covered in snow the entire time, so we haven't really seen it without snow. So the last time that we went last week, we could actually see what the ground looked like and all of the brush, and there's ferns everywhere and maple trees galore. So I took a little video and I'm going to insert it here, and hopefully you'll enjoy seeing our little spot to be. So our first order of business on land is to get rid of some of the trees. The roadway in, we have quite a few fallen trees on it, so we need to get rid of them. So that's what Moose is up to today. I'm going to turn around so you can kind of see, but hopefully we can get a path made in so we can bring the truck right up today. You can see him down there. The chainsaw. So we've got a ton of cleanup to do around the land as well. It is crazy on the way in here. It's quite a long road in, and there are branches down everywhere. So we've got a lot of cleanup to do to maintain our little treed in areas. It's gonna be fun. I can't wait. So this is actually the road in, and it's quite a mess at the minute. As you can see, there's quite a few deadfalls that we need to get rid of, and ones that are actually still standing that we need to get rid of as well so they don't hurt anyone. But that one took a good hit last year, I guess. So we'll chip away at this until we get a path through. So hopefully you enjoyed that. I'm sure there will be many more videos to come of the camp. We don't actually have a camp on there. The idea is that we're going to build a camp whenever we have the funds, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So there's actually a trailer on there right now, so we'll be able to go to the trailer and enjoy that until we get the camp built. So stay tuned for more updates on the camp. So let's move into So What? So this week in So What, I'm so excited. I finished the baby's quilt, and I finished it just in time for his birthday. So I'm going to present. This is my finished Sherwood quilt. Now, it's going to be really big, and I'll put in pictures so you can see the full thing, but I'll give you an idea of what it's like. And this is the backing. And then I also added a little tag. So I've had the quilt top done for quite some time. And I had started to pin it together, but I didn't have it all pinned together. So I just decided I was gonna have it done for his birthday, and so I could hang it up in his room before he's a teenager. So I sandwiched it all together, and I did the binding. I did the binding as a machine binding on the front. Now I know a lot of people sew it by hand on the back, but I just wanted to try the machine binding to begin with. It went on pretty well. The only thing is, I don't think my quilt was 100% straight in some spots, because it seems like when I flipped my strip over, there wasn't as much fabric in some spots than there were in others. So I will definitely pay attention to that more next time. But it was a very good learning curve. And then I don't know if you can see the lines that I put into it. Yeah, I just did diagonal lines all the way along the quilt. And it was a very busy quilt to begin with all the different patches. So I didn't want to take away from that too much, so I thought that just the diagonal line would be a good idea for it. So I'm very happy with this. And I hope he loves it when he's old enough to love and appreciate it. So for now, we're going to hang it above his crib. I have a rod, actually, that I hung a different quilt in T's room when she was a baby. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to hang this one behind his bed. And so he can look at it all the time, and I can look at it all the time. So after I had finished that quilt, of course, before I had even finished it, I was ready to start 5 more quilts. So I started another quilt this week. Let me show you. So this one, here's the pattern. Let's start that way. I'm getting kind of dark in here. I'm going to turn on the light. So I'm losing light, so I'm going to have to do this quickly. So this is the Summer at the Beach pattern, and this is by England Street Quilts. This is a free pattern, and it's on Craftsy, which is where I've been perusing all of my quilting desires. So this pattern actually calls for 2 jelly rolls. So I have used a jelly roll of Moda that is just plain white, and a jelly roll of Moda that is called Vintage Picnic. If you can see behind me, this little banner here is all Vintage Picnic. And I actually pulled those out of the jelly roll before I started using it, and that was probably a wrong decision, because I would have liked to have put quite a few of these in my quilt. But now I can't because the strips aren't long enough. So, lesson learned. I also learned, I bought the Vintage Picnic jelly roll last year, and I learned when I wanted to start this quilt that you actually need more than 1 jelly roll to make a quilt. So I had to purchase another white roll from a great Canadian company called Dinky Doo Fabrics. So they sent that to me really quickly, and I could get started on my quilt. let me show you what's been happening. So as it's a free pattern, there is no, I'm not going to be giving away anything here. So what you do basically is you make you sew 3 strips together. So this is 2 white strips and 1 pattern strip. So you do so many of these like this, and then, if I can get one here, you make it in the opposite. So you do 2 patterned and 1 white. So you do so many of this and so many of this one. Then what you do is you join them together into a tube. So I'm going to sew them all together into a tube. Well, 2 together into a tube. So you take them into pairs, and then the magic happens when you cut them. So you're gonna cut them into triangles, and all of the triangles make the pattern. So I've got quite a bit done. I've got all of my strips done, and I'm just starting to put my tubes together. Once I have that done, I just cut them, and that's when the magic happens, and then I can just sew them all together. So I'm very excited for this quilt. I'm very excited for it to be done because I have tons of other ones in my head that I want to knit, or that I want to quilt. So that's the quilt that I've been working on, and that's basically what's taking up all of my knitting time right now. I've been enjoying quilting a lot. So that actually, I should also tell you, while I've been quilting, especially on Sunday nights, I've been enjoying the new Anne series that's out on the CBC. For a lot of you, this won't come, if you're in the States, it won't come to you until, I'm trying to think, I think it was the 12th, or maybe the 15th of May. It's going to be released onto Netflix, but as of right now, it's just on the CBC. So we're getting the whole first season before you guys get to see it. I am addicted. I was very shocked. When they released that this new Anne series was coming, I thought, they can't beat the movie. They really can't. Like, it just, the actors were so great in the movie. I just couldn't imagine that it could be better. And while I wouldn't say it was better than the movie because it's different in so many ways, it is still so good. Amy, she is so perfect for it. And it's just, they take it to a whole other level that you wouldn't think that they could add in there. You'll see when it comes on, but it's like modern and then the original Anne, and they mush it together, and it's so good. So if you get a chance, when it comes on to Netflix, the new Anne series, worth watching for sure. And I'm keeping my fingers crossed there's going to be another season. I actually hope that they go through all of the books with it. It would just be completely awesome. So check it out when you can. So I also have some crochet to talk about, so let's talk about crochet. This is the other obsession that has been happening lately. I knew I wanted to start a crochet blanket because if you look on the hashtag crochet rabbit hole, you will see a whole host of blankets, and you will literally be going down the rabbit hole. I knew I wanted something different. I didn't want to do the fingering weight yarn and just the regular granny stripe. So I was kind of looking around for something new for me to do that I have never done before. And I found this linen stitch. And I thought it was so cool, and I thought I'm just going to use all my worsted scraps, and I'm going to put them together and make a blanket. And these are wool scraps, so I'm just going to have to be careful when I'm washing it, but I am so loving the outcome. So let me get a little closer here. I just love how it almost looks like a dripping candle, like it melts into the next row. But it is so addictive, and it's very easy to memorize and very easy to accomplish. So I've got quite a long blanket going on here, and I don't seem to be running out of scraps anytime soon either, so this is going to be a great project to get rid of them. But I'm enjoying it very much, and I would suggest, I might actually do a little tutorial on how to do the linen stitch. if you are interested in seeing that. It's very simple and produces an awesome fabric. So that's what I've been doing in crochet. The review I have for you this week is a book called Sherlock Knits. This is a book by Joanna Johnson. Now, if you don't recognize her name right away, you may know her from her previous book, Green Gables Knits, speaking of Anne, with an E. And you also may know her, she does some children's books with her husband, and they are Henry's Hat, Phoebe's Birthday, Freddie's Blanket. There are lots of books that she co-authors with her husband as well. He is an illustrator. His illustrations are phenomenal. So much detail, they're beautiful. I'll put a couple in here for you to see. I especially love the one where they're in a mercantile and you can see all of the goods lined up on the wall, and there's yarn and sacks and all these different things. It's so beautiful. He does such a good job. If you get a chance, go on their website, which I will put right here. And you can check out a video of him actually drawing and then watercoloring all of his pictures, which is really cool to watch if you like to see the process behind things. So this is her newest book, Sherlock Knits. It has 10 knitting patterns in it. So all of the patterns are based on Sherlock Holmes. And it's kind of a neat book. I'm going to show you a couple of pictures here. So there is the Sherlock hat, which everybody knows, the iconic Sherlock hat. There's a beautiful shawl. Oh, what's the name of that? The speckled band shawl. There's also the Scotland Yard vest, which is great, and I just love the picture of Sherlock in that one. There's also a great pair of socks, which I'm really looking forward to knitting. Those are the socks for Mary. And there's a scarf and a tea cozy and another cardigan. It's a great little book and so well put together. I love that she kind of bases her knits off of literature. Also, her daughter did the illustrations in the book. So I guess the talent runs all around in the family. And she also is one of the models in the book as well. So that's kind of neat. So her daughter's name is Laurel. Yes, they own Slate Falls Press, and that's where they publish all of their books from. So definitely check out their website. I was kindly sent by Joanna the ebook of this, as well as a copy of the book. So instead of keeping both of them, I think I'm going to keep the ebook, and I'm going to share the hard copy with one of you. So if you are interested, I'm going to open up a thread in the Celtic Cast On group on Ravelry. Just answer the prompt below and you'll be entered in to win this fabulous book. And I will pick a winner after on the next episode. So last but not least today, I want to talk about an auction that is starting on Sunday, which is the 31st of April, which is Sunday, tomorrow, Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. This is an auction that's going to be held under Anna Diomina Designs. I will put it right here, but basically it is for Elena Nodell, who is the designer and the dyer behind Color Adventures Yarn and Anna Diomina Designs. Now, Elena has been an inspiration to many people in the knitting community. You may have noticed on Instagram and Ravelry, it's kind of making the rounds. They have a GoFundMe page because Elena last year battled with cancer, and this year the cancer came back and it was stronger than ever. So we have put up a GoFundMe page, or her family has put up a GoFundMe page because her husband was part of their dyeing business, and where Elena needs care right now, he's not able to dye, and neither is Elena. So they basically have no income coming in, so they have a GoFundMe page up so that we can donate money to help her. Now, Elena has been instrumental in so many people in the knitting community. One right off the top I can think of, Justina Lorkowski of Letty's Knits. Justina used to be a test knitter for Elena. She took from the test knitting, started designing. I know Elena was instrumental in helping her get started, and now look at her. I mean, she's flying. I know with me, my mitten pattern that I published for Pom Pom, it was Elena that I spoke with, and she encouraged me to submit the design, and where before I would have never even chanced to submit anything that I could design to a magazine, and she said go for it, and it got published in the magazine. And like the list goes on and on. There are so many people that test knit for her, that have gone on to be designers, and it's just, she's remarkable in so many ways. She has put out hundreds of patterns, a lot children's patterns, and touched so many people that way as well. I know I test knit, I don't know how many patterns of Elena's for T when she was little. She is such a big part of our community, so that I feel that we really need to give back to her. So back to the auction. We are having an auction in her group. So the auction is going to be for yarn, project bags. I think there's a couple of knit items. So we're going to have each item posted. It's going to have their own little post in the thread. And it's going to show you a starting bid. So starting bid, $25 on a skein of yarn. So each person once the auction opens, each person will be able to bid on whichever item they want. And after 1 week, the auction will close, and the highest bidder will receive the yarn, and it will be sent from the person who donated the item to the auction. So we're hoping that with this, we are going to be able to raise some more money for Elena. I know with her GoFundMe page, they've just recently updated and said that Elena is now home from the hospital. They were able to buy her a special bed because she had to have tubes put in her back to drain her kidneys. And they were able to buy her a special bed and some other things to make her more comfortable. And so we're hoping that this money will help with any other medical expenses that will incur as she gets better. So we are very hopeful that Elena is going to beat this, and we're sending all of our love and positive thoughts to her in this time as she carries on. So if you would like to check out the auction, please do. Any and all bids are welcome over the starting bid. And thank you to anybody who has actually donated things to the auction already. So with that, I think I'm done for this week. As you can see, I'm really losing light here, so I hope the lighting was better, or was okay this evening. But I will be back shortly. It definitely won't be a big break this time, because I will have lots more to share with you very soon. So come chat with me in my thread, say hello, leave a message. I would love to hear from you, and I will see you next time. Thanks. Bye.
Walk through life. Every day is a new beginning. Shine your light. It's a day and the world is waiting. Move along to the song, singing in your soul. Feel the beat, clap your hands, let it take control. All you need, all you want, are you ready to find your way? Cause every day is a new day. And everything's going your way.
So if you follow me on Instagram, you will know that go! Ay, ay, ay. If you're doing that, you're going to have to be super quiet and not move.
I'm usually
Okay. And no farting.
sorry, but I have to.